Show me your faith without works, and I'll show you my faith by my works.
Yo, what is it? You already know what it is, man. This is your man, Levon, just coming back with part 3 of this kindness series that we're doing. You dig? Out of a 4-part series. And this part 3 is going to be talking about willingness, right? Involving kindness. We're talking about willingness in this part 3. All right. So let's get into it. We hear folks talk about free will a lot, right? And we all have free will. That's something that God has given us. It's a God-given right. It's a birthright. Free will. God doesn't force us to do anything, but we have a free will to choose what we're going to do, right? So since we have a free will, it would behoove us to have a willing attitude. What I mean by a willing attitude is having a I will attitude. I will. I am willing. I'm willing to do. I'm willing to think. I'm willing to believe. I'm willing to say. I'm willing to act. I'm willing to respond. I'm willing not to do a certain thing or say a certain thing or react a certain way or respond a way. I am willing to or not to, but it's an act of our will. It's something that we will, right? We either wish to do it, we desire to do it, we can see ourselves doing it, or we don't have a desire, we don't have a wish, we don't have a will to do that thing. But our will is a choice. Let me say it again. Our will, what it is that we want to do or we're willing to do, is a choice. Okay? But what it has to do with kindness, which is what we're talking about, and the 4 pillars of kindness, right? We were talking about gentleness, being gentle, how we handle one another and treat one another. We're talking about helpfulness, right? Helping one another, going the extra mile, going out of our way. So now we're covering willingness, a willing attitude, the choice to choose to do or not to do, having a willing attitude. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about willingness. Do we have a willing attitude towards kindness? Do we want to be kind? Are we willing to make the choice to be kind? Okay, so willingness, where kindness is concerned, means that you have to have a to want to.
Wait, say what?
What I mean by that, you got to have a to want to. Willingness in itself won't do anything. Willingness in itself won't move. It won't operate. It doesn't have an action to it. You got to have a to want to.
You need to say that again. I think they need to hear that again. Y'all didn't hear it? You need to say that again.
You got to have a to want to with it. The to want to is the action. The to want to is the decision, the driving decision force. The to want to. It's the motivating factor. The to want to. You got to have a to want to. You dig? When it comes to willingness. But before we get too deep, please like this video, share this video on all your platforms, whether it's, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, whether it's, I said Instagram already, didn't I? Or whether it's YouTube, right? Share this video on all the platforms that you have. And I know there's many that I haven't even named. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you always notified whenever I upload content and you don't want to miss any videos moving forward. You dig? And remember, Lamella E, love, uplift, motivate, inspire, learn, laugh, encourage, and enlighten. That's my desire and this channel's purpose. You dig? All right, now let's get back to the content. Listen, I know when it comes to the willingness to want to, that to want to. I understand that, a lot of us, are suspicious.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We're suspicious when it comes to having that willingness to want to, because of just stuff that we've experienced and stuff that we've done. You know what I'm saying? Many of us are reluctant, from the past, from our trauma. A lot of us don't even like to think about past trauma. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that we don't want to do, right? We don't have the willingness to want to face that hurt and that past trauma, right? Even fresh hurts. It don't even have to be past hurts. It could be fresh stuff that you just went through, And then some of us are just stubborn. You know what I'm saying? And we're unyielding, due to people trying to control us and manipulate us, you know what I'm saying? Due to disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. You get tired of that after a while. I know I do. I get tired of being disappointed by people that I didn't put my trust in and I put my all in and thinking that they're going to do right by me, right? And then when I turn around, I'm not even expecting it. And all of a sudden, boom, here comes another disappointment, right? And somebody's trying to, where I've yielded control. I've given you so much control, but now you've taken it and you're abusing the control that I've given you, right? And most of us feel like we have a valid reason to feel this way when it comes to, trusting folks, and when it comes to, having a willingness to do for other folks because of what we've experienced. We feel like our reasons are valid and our reasons are justified. You dig what I'm saying? But let me offer you another insight. Okay. Let's try to be cooperative, right? When it comes to having a, to do, a want to, when it comes to having a to want to, a willingness to want to, right? Let's have a mindset to cooperate. Let's have a mindset to be flexible. You know what I'm saying? To ride the wave of the ebb and flows of the Holy Spirit, of the blessings, of whatever his desire is for us to operate in his kingdom, right? When it comes to willingness, where kindness is concerned, let's have an attitude to cooperate and be flexible, right? So he can use us however he wants to use us, right? Because as we're willing, as we are, me and you, as we're willing to do or to have a made up mind and an attitude in our hearts, right? Where kindness is concerned, we'll find ourselves looking for reasons to compromise. We'll find ourselves looking for areas to accommodate, right? Rather than reasons to complain and areas, to make excuses. Listen, your attitude determines your altitude. I'll say it again. Your attitude determines your altitude, right? And a willingness to do determines your success in life. So if you have an attitude that you're willing, you're choosing, right? And you're choosing to have a want to behind it, right? Then you're going to be successful in life. You're not going to make excuses and you're not going to, look for reasons to complain, but you're going to be determined because your attitude is going to determine your altitude. Where willingness is concerned, dealing with kindness. You feel me? And that's just facts. A willingness to want to. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have a willingness to want to, bro. You gotta have a willingness to want to be better. Right? Being better just doesn't happen on its own. It's not like some kind of evolutionary process. You have to want to. You have to want to. Let's get that in our spirit. To want to. Say it with me. Repeat it. To want to. We have to have a to want to. Right? You want to be better? You got to have a to want to be better. that willingness, that will, that choice to be better, you have to have a want to, right? I want to be. You want change in your life. You don't like the perspective that has been put out on you. You don't like how people see you or how people perceive you. You want to change some things in your life. You want to change, like I said, perception. You want to change eating habits. You want to change spending habits. You want to change speaking habits, right? You got to have a to want to, because it's not going to happen on its own. Right? You want to be better? You got to have a want to be better. You want to change some things? You got to have a I want to change. They're willing to want to. What about forgiveness? Right? And this is what we got to learn about forgiveness. Forgiveness is not for the other person, man. Forgiveness is for us. Them people going on about their business, they ain't thinking about what you feeling and how you feeling and the hurt that you carrying and the resentment you carrying, because they going on about their business. The forgiveness is not for them. The forgiveness is for us, so that we're not carrying that stuff, so that we can throw it into the sea of forgiveness as far from the east to the west and not remember no more. The forgiveness is for us, but we got to have a willingness to want to forgive. To want to not carry, that bitterness and that anger and that's killing us and causing us health problems and causing us not to trust and not to, not to really have a faith, because we've lost the willingness to want to, right? You got to have a to want to. See, I was trying to tell you. What about when it comes to love, right? A lot of people say, I want to love, but do they have a willingness to want to? They say, I will, I have a willingness, but it's not followed by to want to. I have a willingness to love. I have a willingness to let someone in. I have a willingness to trust. I have a willingness to operate in faith. I have a willingness to believe. But it's not followed with a to want to, right? Right? Look, I have a willingness to want. I have a willingness to stop gossiping. I have a willingness to stop lying. I have a willingness to look outside of myself and it not be about me. It's just not about the world revolving around me and what I think and what I say and how I feel and how I act and what I do and how I move. I have a willingness to look outside of myself. I have a willingness to ask for forgiveness. How about that? Right? I have a willingness to ask for forgiveness. I have a willingness to submit. Come on now. That's a word that in the flesh we don't like, right? That's a word in our flesh, in our humanness, in our carnal thinking. We hate that word submit, but in the spirit, that's a beautiful word. In God, that's a lovely word. You dig? That's a humbling word. That's a blessed word. Submit. Preach, bro. You preach. Preach. You dig? But these are things that we say we have a will to do. We're willing to submit to the I am that I am, right? We're willing to do it God's way. But where's the to want to that's supposed to follow the willing? See, again, we can will all we want to. We can will. We can will all day. We can have all the willingness that was ever created, right? As much willingness as we can store. But if it's not followed by to want to, then you're not going to love. You're not going to stop lying. You're not going to look outside of yourself. You're not going to be faithful. You're not going to stop complaining. You're not going to submit. You gotta have a want to want to. Remember, let's add that to our vocabulary, a to want to. I can will all I want, but if I don't have a to want to, it's not going to take place. It's not going to happen. You got to have a to want to. I can will to have drive, but if I don't put a to want to behind it, then that drive is not going to go anywhere. I'm just trying to encourage you on this Thankful Thursday. When we're talking about kindness and the 4 pillars of kindness, you can't have real, true kindness if you don't have a willingness to want to be kind, to want to be gentle, to want to be helpful, right? To want to be willing. You got to have a to want to, man, where willingness is concerned, dealing with kindness. Yo, listen, this has been your man, Levon. This is Levon Says. Please, again, like this video. Share this video on all your platforms. Share it with your family, with your coworkers, with your friends. Hell, share it with your enemies. You know what I'm saying? But share the message. Hit that like button. And make sure you turn on the bell notification so you're always notified whenever I upload, because I upload Monday through Friday. Remember, Lamella E, love, uplift, motivate, inspire, learn, to laugh, to encourage, and to enlighten. Lamella E. Go on LamellaE.com, check out your merch, and remember, join me Monday through Friday for your Motivation Daily content. I'm your man, Levon, and I'm out.